siyanqula ngomoya wovuyo kungekho zikhalo abantwana bentlalo yekomkhulu nesibonda iinkonde zesizwe ezikhokhela umnombo ngesiko lobudoda iinkondekazi ezikhaphela iintsapho zisiphulula amanxeba zisithuluka izilonda hlobo lokusiphilisa siyaphila oomakhi abakha isizwe ngolwimi bezama ukusimilisa siyamila kwiminyanya ethi isikhaphele ikwasikhokela siphile kudeda ubumnyama siyanqula abantu abadala kuthi masenze igogogwane elingenagama siwise intsipho ngoba amathamba ayahlangana kuthi mandididiyele ndibize isikhwele abantu bokuhlala basondele bancamle kule ndebe bate kwesi sithebe bakhense badyutshe kube mnandi kube yilekese siyacamagusha siyanqula siyathandaza siyavuya siphehla isilawo sekhaya siyahlamba makucoceke onento afuna ukuyithetha nokuyicela nantsi ibhekile makathethe iminqweno iphumelele.
Thokozane, today's new age sangomas are conflicted when it comes to Christianity. Because of the knowledge that they've been exposed to in their research, they are starting to question everything about Christianity. It is correct. Christianity was forced down the throats of our ancestors. It is correct. Christianity was brutal to our people, and it continues to undermine African values. That we cannot take away, that we cannot question. However, my only argument is that if we understand that Constantine the Great called a Council of Nicaea in what is called today the modern day Turkey, and if he tried to formalize Christianity there and came out with certain proclamations in that concept, why are we as Africans trying to argue its origins or its impact on our lives? It is not for us to do that, because the Christians that we are talking about are not Constantine the Great people. We are talking about our own ancestors, our own bloodlines who embraced Christianity when it was presented to them. Do we ignore them? Do we leave them unattended because they are coming to us presenting Christian ways? They are talking about this tunywa that is linked to Christianity, and then we go and claim we had our prophets long before Christians. That is correct. I do not think it is a point of discussion whether our people didn't have Istunya or Uprofeti before. That one is neither here nor there. We know for a fact that our people knew Umvelingangi. Our people knew how to connect. There were prophets who would foresee things before they happen. But unfortunately, at a certain stage in our lives, our ancestors were introduced to Christianity. And like any other religion, it was never introduced as a good thing. It was always introduced by blood, by capture, by torture. And later, it was presented as the best way of living. We are now sitting with a problem where our ancestors are appearing on us, and they are appearing, showing us Christian ways of doing things. What do? Do I say because I'm a Sangoma, I'm only going to embrace African ways of living? Or do I say I'm going to respect my ancestors and also honor them? Istunya Sabo, I will still link it to Christianity. Although I know its origins, I know its purpose, that it was meant to be used as a tool to actually grow the Roman Empire. Constantine the Great was a good man. He had so much ideas that made sure that a religion that was scattered all around Europe is now collected together and formalized. And Christianity as we know it today, it is not in its original sense. That is the truth. But we can't say it is wrong. Point one thing in Christianity that says you are actually supposed to go and do evil. None. The moral values that Christianity promotes are almost similar to what our African way of living are promoting. Ours is to make sure that we know what we are dealing with. However, do not disrespect or ridicule our ancestors, those who believed in Christianity. We are now going to take a real life situation where someone who's been exposed to Christianity as their basic fundamentals of life is now a Sangoma who is actually initiating other Sangomas. Let's hear his story. Watch Mkhuluma Gadla and listen to him unpack his real life story. And maybe from his story, you will learn something about your life. I am not against those that are saying Christianity is bad, But I am against those that are saying, let's do away with Christianity. I stand for a collaboration that will be able to progress our lives. Thokozani.
Thokozani, amen kuzithunywa bonke abantwana bedlozi. My name is Siphelele Mkabateli, the son of Unokwa Intombi Nozizana. That is my late father. I am the last born kubantwana babo bonke. I am a healer and a prophet. I've been trained under Ubungoma and also Nestunywa and Phakamisa. So my upbringing, I grew up from church, from both families. I was raised as umntwana okhulele enkonzweni. So for my whole entire life, I knew nothing else up until now. Kungena vele, of course, a spiritual gift. I grew up at church, trained as a preacher. From my family, umama nakulotata, they were staunch members of the church, that is the Methodist Church of Southern Africa. I'm not even ashamed to mention that, because a lot of us in that church, we seem to be having spiritual gift, whether abanye bayazazi okanye abazazi, or you discover it later. So I was raised by ugogo, the person that endikhulele phansi kwakhe, umagogo, who is also my spiritual gift giver, Esithunyweni, uGuy. From a very young age, sakhuliswe enkonzweni, umakhulu would wake us up, sihambe siyothandaza, kungena inkonzo nasekhaya. So I'm saying these things because this is how I grew up. So calling finds me sendimdala. You understand, Musuguti, sometimes it's even difficult for one, especially if you grew up from a Christian family background, having to have all of a sudden uchinje from being a Christian to Ubungoma. And from the family, there's no one that I can say that nangu umuntu from my family side okuthiwa mhlawumbe hayi ndiyamazi wayithwasile. Up until now, it's only later when I discovered that I'm gifted, and it was even difficult for me as a spiritual child ukuthi I must accept it, because ndandiphila ngengoma, ndandiphila ngomthandazo, ndandiphila ngentshumayelo. It is the only thing that we would do nasekhaya. I remember even when my father esaphila, the only thing that we would know and we grew up doing was to go to church. Later, starting ngemoto when I came in Joburg, sizohlala up, then sibuye size up. So eyobungoma, then having to move from Ubungoma to Kengoku, this thing yobungoma, having to move from the church side to Ubungoma, it was a very difficult thing, because one, I did not have a support from the family. Number two, I had to learn iSintu on my own. So it was a very difficult thing even now to even you mention to the family that you are gifted, because of bonke abantu from the family. From my mother's side, kunabefundisi, from my father's side, kunabefundisi. There's no one literally that I would point out to say that this is the person that I can learn from. So, sorry, as a person that grew up under Methodist Church, I had to then, I remember when I got my calling, because it was just into that had to just swiftly happen. Yoguti, I had to go emthandazweni, and to me, it was something that I loved, serving people. And I was even thinking ukuthi mhlawumbi I would be one of the best ministers, because serving under the church umbrella, it was one of the things. It started also my wife had to accept her calling, and for my side as a preacher, you can understand that as a preacher whom to other churches they would call a pastor, having your wife having to go to your twasa and accept this gift. Now sometimes at Taweni they would put you aside and all of those things. Now you're having a wife or sangoma and all of those things. And to me, it was one of the most difficult things for me to accept. Up until this calling came, and I had to accept ukuthi now things are changing. And for me, I did not just accept ukuthi I will then do calling and accept it as it comes. I had to check first things, because I know ukuthi sometimes when you come from the church things, you then look for this one that suits into yeqawe. So I was introduced to his tunya and I fell in love with this tunya, and I said no, I will hide myself under the umbrella as tunya. Little did I know ukuthi at a later stage kuzawuvela ubungoma. So I had to battle with that ukuthi ngoku I had to switch from kusithunywa to ubungoma. And it was not even my choice to make, it was amadlozi, because xa uhamba nabantu that have been bevalwe ixesha elide, it then becomes a problem yokuthi ngoku you'll have to have your own choice in serving them, or it has to be your own way. So in this one, I remember I had to ukuthi ngoku dichinje even my mindset in thinking of ubungoma and nezinye zezinto that were happening empilweni yami, because there was just that drastic change immediately ngigqiba uphakamisa isithunywa. And I battled even when I was ephehlweni. It was difficult for me to accept ukuthi here I am. But of course, with the teachings and also my mentors, and amfumanayo ubaba wami asedlozini, and I had to change the way ndicinga ngakhona about ubungoma, because I thought ukuthi immediately manigqiba nje le nto zithwasa zazibekela ecaleni ezinto. But somehow along the journey I find this fulfillment, this discovery, because I had to learn ukuthi actually between ubungoma necawe akukho nto kuthiwa yahlabana, other than ukuthi we tend to glorify religion kakhulu more than us, more than aba bantu abaphila phakathi kwethu. So I had to then dibone into kokubana in this thing and these lentils ndiyazidlala actually, and I'm closing a lot of things. If you were to ask me now, comparing the life that I lived ngela xesha and nangoku, I would say that you see, sometimes you would ask ukuthi uzixela into bana mhlawumbi deliverance is the only thing that will happen and it ends there. Kanti it is not the thing. Ufast uthandaze wenze yonke into and still you don't see your life changing. Kanti impilo yakho is held by things zakowenu. You need to just do rituals and then ukhululeke empilweni yakho. So it was my life ukuthi ke ngoku I had to make sure that it's either I make it or break it. So I had to accept into kokubana even from the family, one, I will be judged. Number two, they would then say from us esiphilayo, you have never seen anyone othatha esisipho, because even nomama ondizalayo, she had to go through the very same thing. Unfortunately, she couldn't aphakamisa izithunywa zakhe, aphakamisa ubungoma bakhe, because of this thing yokuthi akanayo umuntu ambonayo ophilayo. So I was prepared to even lose family members because of my gift, and to say that it has to start with me, and also having to ukuthi ndenze theology and understand scriptural things, dinga understand abantu basekhaya in a way ndandizivalela into ezininzi even in life as general. So I now know ukuthi I can work with this thunywa that covers aba babethandaza basekhaya without even ukuthi ngoku ndiye ecaweni or whatever things okanye yayibona. So by using them, evoking le moya yabo and ndithandaze and wearing their garments as of course as umntana wesithunywa, I can be able to ukuthi kuphakame izithunywa and be able to heal abantu. Because ecaweni I would tell you ukuthi ecaweni I would pray for people. Sometimes dive into bana it's no more longer me. Dive ngathi umzimba lo wami nje it's ukwelinye nje indawo, kanti it was them that were working that time. So if usebenza ngesithunya, you would know ukuthi even church side akukuvalela into. It is just a problem when then uzixelela into bana unesithunya kuphela and you want to end it there. It becomes a difficult thing ukuthi uzixelela into bana hayi isithunywa then iyokuphela uzawusebenza ngaso and leave the side of ubungoma. Anyway, some of us njengoba nje ucinga into bana unesithunya kuphela, under those thunywa you may find out ukuthi even your gift giver yayingumuntu owayesebenza with both ubungoma and also nesithunywa. So because of your little knowledge you think ukuthi I am covered because of ubalekele into yecawe. I've been running for indaba yesithunywa and also nobungoma for a very long time, up until I had to succumb to my calling and disebenze ngalendlela and accept into ukubana my life will never be the same again. Of course you'll lose some empilweni, it's part of life, and you gain some people. To me, if you were to ask me now, how is it with your calling and comparing with the Christian life? And of course, to me, a Christian life was just a foundation paving way for me, one, to educate me more about impilo ukuthi you will be dealing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 empilweni. This is how you're supposed to handle it. And also to make sure ukuthi in me there is that humbleness of dealing with things using Christianity. Of course, ukuthi now that you are into ubungoma, one, it's not about imali, it's not about anything else, it's about impilo yakho, saving your life. Number two, when you deal with clients, you will then use indaba yokuthi you are being fair, and also at the very same time know that you are there to heal, nothing else. And also not to use your gift wrongly. Because one of the things that we have learned, ukuthi the criticism, ukuthi abantu abaninzi they think ukuthi ubungoma it's about killing people and witchcraft. For us to be able to accept it, ukuthi ubungoma it's actually can be a very 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 beautiful gift that you can use, especially if you use ubungoma rightfully so in helping people, also healing the nation, because there's an outcry yabantu abaninzi abagulayo that needs us as izangoma, that needs us abantu that uses holistic healing to heal abantu that needs our lives ukuthi sibancede. So it was not simple, but at the very same time it was worth it for me to be able to ukuthi disebenzise my gift in a rightful way. And also, even if you were to ask me now, I will never quit ubungoma because I find fulfillment even ebusuku ndiyalala ngoku, because finally it is about me and my people. It is about the void I've always had the quest ukuthi there was just something that was missing empilweni yami, that missing link enokwenzeka nje emntwini. So finally I have found my purpose in living, and find the purpose in serving people at my own pace, of course, and the pace of abantu bam that I'm serving. Also, what we need to also understand, look, Christianity, from the background of Christianity and Ubungoma nesithunywa, there are a lot of similarities kuzo zonke izinto, because if you're moving from Christianity, then you are then covered, especially when it comes to isithunywa, because I'll tell you, from the way we grew up, we know ukuthi those that had the gift of isithunywa, they used elements that were meant ukuthi baphakamise umoya yabo, so that they can communicate with abantu abababo babe banikeze the gift. Some of them, they would have, as far as ilentole, have izambatho that represents their gift givers according to ngalendlela baboniswa ngayo. They would carry Bibles, carry amathuso, as a way of making sure that they communicate with uThixo wabo ngalendlela abafuna uthandaza ngayo. And you sometimes mhlawumbe uhlangane nomuntu having isambatho sakhe sine cross as a symbol of the communication between the universe, because a symbol across, it is the heaven and the earth. So there is a communication between the two, and also horizontal side, it covers us as the community and the believers. So there's also into yokuthi in us, then kunabo olanxibelelwano olukhona between us nesithunywa. So you are not lost when we are in between these lentole. It is just a religion esenza into kokubana mhlawumbi kube nzima some of us to even accept the gift. It's actually a very, very, very beautiful thing to be ube kuyo indaba yesithunywa and also nobungoma, because in most of us, especially in our day and age now, you can't find isangoma esingathandaziyo, esingabhiliviyo emthandazweni, because it's one of izinto sakhula ngazo, some of us, in most of us, from apho sikhulele khona. So when we're having these gifts, then we now understand ukuthi I'm just a special child that is different from abanye abantwana, that needs a special attention, that is there to heal and also to transform the world, nothing else. Thokozani.